Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Swerve here. We are going to be going over a live overview of Alpha Sharks today. We're going to let some people jump in here real quick, and then we will jump right into it. Welcome those just watching for the first time through outside sources other than Discord itself. But yes, I will give a few minutes to let some people jump in here. All right. Welcome those through Twitch and Twitter and watching through outside sources other than Discord. Really happy to bring you an overview of Alpha Sharks today. And let's just jump right into it. So first things off, we're going to be again going over the Alpha Sharks overview, and going to see if we can see a live play today, and going to go over certain ways to see how we can go about seeing those. So one of the things I like to do is I like to start off on 24-hour time frame on the training page, because this is something I like to look at over time to see what's quote-unquote normal. So right here, Crypto Sumedji's 595 ETH traded. That is something very significant compared to the first top three. Notice these are double-digit ETH volume traded, while crypto Semeji is triple digit, and is pretty much blowing everything out of the water that we're looking at right here in this list. So let's keep scrolling down, see if there's any more triple digit ETH volume traded to have something to keep an eye on. So an anonymous cactus club right here, 157. But other than that, we can see crypto Semeji pretty much taking the lead here. So we know that triple digit ETH volume here on this time frame is going to be something to keep an eye on, as we don't have many of those to look at right now. One of the next things I like to go over is pretty much the same thing, just in smaller time frames. So going into the hourly, again, looking for the volume or the most volume traded. And right here we have non-financial advisors with 5.813 ETH volume traded. Again, looking for what's quote unquote normal here. And we can see that anything over 5 in this time frame is going to be pretty abnormal, and something we definitely want to keep an eye out for. So it looks like we might be taking a look at this non-financial advisors or this robots town. But the reason I'm saying non-financial advisors is because it has a bit more volume than robots town right now. So let's go into something a little smaller, 15 minute, and see the discrepancy that we're talking about here. So just within the last 15 minutes, non-financial advisors actually has just about 4 times the volume that robots town actually has. So we're actually gonna jump into non-financial advisors and actually look into that charting system right now. Again, we'll probably come back and look at this robots town over time, and yeah, we'll go over some views. And if you guys have any questions, please do not be afraid to type that out and / or click into the link so that you can hop inside the queue to ask a chat live stream. So let's jump right into non-financial advisors. All right. So one of the first things I like to do is when looking at these assets, I like to break down the statistics that we get from them. So I like splitting them up like so. These ones that I'm highlighting are pretty much going to be some of the main factors that we look at for momentum plays, especially. Right now we don't have as many sales coming in as I hope we did, but we'll go into some of the charting system to see what's kind of happening and where we're at within the cycle of the asset that we're looking at. So there's a few portions I highlighted up top. The supply and owners. This is a very, very key ratio that I think a lot of people should take into account. Taking into account owner to supply ratio is something very key to identifying how thin our walls are going to be. And what I mean by that is when we have our sell walls down here, notice we have multiple color-coded tokens down here. So basically what this is saying is if people hold 1+ token or 1 token only, they're going to pop up as green. If they hold 2 to 4 tokens, they're going to be popping up as yellow. If they pop up 5 to 9 tokens, they're going to pop up as blue. And if you have 10+ tokens, you'd be popping up as purple. And basically what this is correlating is again, how thick our walls are going to be. So um, the owner supply ratio is going to give us how thin it is to get there, while um, giving us the ability to see, um, is it really possible to get to push through the next price targets. Um, and ideally, having over 50% is going to help this chart out a ton. You'll see having over 50% owner supply ratio, you'll see lots more greens and lots more yellows as opposed to blues and purples. And ideally, again, you would like to see more greens and more yellows because, again, on a seller's perspective, you only have one item of something, and price starts to move up in the direction you like. It's a lot harder to just sell one asset fully get out of the project, as opposed to if you were selling the same project and you had about 10 tokens. And again, if everybody has kind of the same mindset with multiple tokens and the asset starts rising, you'll start to see people starting to de-risk. And the crazy thing about that is it's not only one person with that plan. And that's the thing I'm trying to get to, is you're probably not the only person with that same exact plan. So it's a lot better to have that thinner wall to pretty much get through, which is going to be the next portion that we're going to talk about, which is our listings. So we actually have our total supply, which is already stagnant unless it's actually still minting. But this is a key number that we're going to be looking at over time, which is going to be number of listings. And that chart is directly correlated, this chart here, listings and this listings chart are identical. The only way that you'd see discrepancies in both of these charts is if you change the threshold. And the threshold is basically saying, if let's say I wanted to only see listings up until 0.05, I can, or 0.06, we can change that. And notice the amount of listings changed here. So notice it's 166 because we're only calculating listings up until this point. But look what happens when I actually take that off. It goes back to that regular listings that we actually have here. So listings and putting that to the total supply is another ratio to look at as well. If you have at least 10% listed or under that, that's very solid. Again, that's insinuating that we're going to have thinner walls to get through at that point, because again, if there's only 10 listings and there's, let's say, 10,000 supply, that right there is telling us there's a reason for these people to be holding on to their NFT. Again, insinuating a very bullish signal at this point. But again, using all of these kind of in conjunction, as opposed to just using them individually, is probably going to be your best bet. Next aspect I wanted to go over was going to be the MBCP. MBCP is a very important number, or a very important metric that we should be definitely looking at over time, especially for the people who are looking to get into maybe some type of degen plays and hopping into a project that they're potentially looking to turn into a swing trade. This number is going to be very key, because what this number is telling us is that it's breaking down a median of what blue chips and how many blue chips have came into this project that we're looking at, and takes into account how many mints or how many assets they actually hold, and breaks it down into a percentage. And what that's really good for is not only showing us how many blue chip projects are potentially in this project, but also gives us an indicator for potential demand to come in, because with the audience that the blue chip holders are bringing in, any type of news catalyst or any type of incentive for holders or buyers to come in is going to up the probability of this asset actually getting bought up. So pushing about 5, 7, 10% of NBCP is definitely something to keep an eye on. And we can see this one's pushing about 2.2. So this is something to definitely keep an eye on. Because again, this is one of the more prominent indicators for turning short-term, I guess, day trades into somewhat swing trades. So that is a definite key number that we have to take into account. Okay, let's actually take a look at another project, because we're actually not getting any sales coming in here. Let's take a look at what has volume. What is this? Pop Cult NFT. Jesus. Okay. No sales. Guess I might have to go to that robots town, huh? Man, just not many sales going on now. There's one. Alright, let's jump into trading view, see what we got over here. Alright, if you guys have any questions, make sure to jot that down, and again, I can get that right back to you. Let's see what's actually going on. Alright, let's go into trading view. I want to see if anybody's actually been utilizing trading view. Anybody in here been utilizing trading view a bit? No dice. Alright. And again, for those who have not checked out the trading view portion that we had implemented, this is going to be a very key. So I guess one of the first things I'll help some of us do is, for those who have not messed with TradingView before, my chart might look a little different compared to yours off the rip. Yes, we actually do have a question. First name basis, can you get a step-by-step on your fave TradingView settings? I got lost in all the options. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're gonna kind of jump over right now. So when you pop up the TradingView portion, you're going to be pretty much incentivized with a then you have a whole slew of indicators that you can pretty much pick through. But right now, what you should have on your screen is volume up top. Or candles are probably red and green still, but notice they actually overlay on our price action, which is something I'm not a big fan of. I like to be able to separate the two. So what I like to do is move, you're able to click this little 3 dots for some more options, and then you're able to move to a new pane below or a new pane above. So what that's going to tell us is that it's basically going to give whatever indicator that we're looking at, it's going to give that its own mini chart, I guess you would call it. So if I put it below, notice I have the option to now change the scale of the size of the volume chart I'm looking at, and it also messes with the scale of the candlestick chart that we're looking at. Cool thing here though is I like to leave it just, I don't know, maybe less than a quarter of the screen, just so I again can visually see the volume coming in. Um, and I'll show you my settings there. Um, I like putting it to yellow and blue myself. Usually you'll see red and green for candles, but it's just the way my eyes work. I've just found it to work better for me. But this is kind of, again, customizable to what you like, way that they're calculated or shown, displayed. This one right here, this volume moving average, this is something I would highly, highly recommend turning on. I know for those who stopped by the last sessions, we definitely talk heavily on average volume, and this is pretty much that. It's moving average volume, and any candlesticks that we're getting calculated, it's going to give us an average of the volume. So notice down here, I actually have our volume and our average volume. So I can actually pop that up by double clicking inside the column that volume is in. It's cool because you can come in, you can come in here, zoom in, and you can literally draw trend lines on here as well. You can literally see deduction in volume and where we actually get the breakout in volume. And if we double click there, notice the breakout in volume. What happens with our with our price right here? Again, I know the chart we're looking at is only 0.002, but let's say that this was something with range. You could have easily seen, just pretty much based on the volume, that that was pretty much the low, or at least the local low that we were looking at. So yeah, that's definitely one thing I want you guys to utilize, is going to be the volume. Yeah, man, but the thing is not to kind of copy my view or anything like that. It's pretty much to get to know what we're using and why we're using it. Because on my charts, I mean, you can go through every single one of these indicators and put them on, but if you have no idea what they're calculating, it really doesn't even matter. Because again, I could just tell you, hey, put this on, and you can understanding and getting the time in and the chart time to actually see these is going to be pretty much everything. So yeah, if you guys can practice with again drawing these trend lines themselves will help you out things as well. It's pretty cool that we can have a charting system not only give us the volume here, but also give us the active listings that are kind of happening live over time. So let's say at a certain point that you get to, let's say, your trend lines to price action, you'll see some very interesting correlations going forward. Price action respects these trend lines a lot. And yeah, the only way to kind of see this yourself is by doing it yourself and kind of getting the practice over and over and over again. One thing I do want to let you guys know is that if you guys are in illiquid assets, meaning there's no trades going on, let's say there's a trade every hour or something like that on a low ETH floor project, you're going to start to see very big candle wicks and lots of duds that look like pretty much barcodes. That's going to mean that you're dealing with a very liquid asset, and that's probably something that you don't want to be messing around with a ton. And unless you mention VC funded, yeah, it's funny, we've actually talked about that a lot. How do you spell that? Synergy. Right here. Okay. So let's go into Trading View. And since this is, again, a little longer, this has been out for a little longer, I'm going to put this on a, let's go 4 hour. Let's go 1 hour. It's a little too little candlesticks. All right, cool. So this is what I'm looking at on Crypto Synergy. And again, that illiquidity I was talking about is kind of what we're seeing right in this little portion. You get these big old wicks that happen, and then you'll get the barcode that's kind of just chopping here. One of the things I'm seeing though with crypto is just holding trend. We really haven't broken trend on it as of yet. I did see that it was VC funded. I think Baidu, if I'm not mistaken, was inside this one. But yeah, we're pretty much in this channel that I kind of drew. So channel is pretty much just two trend lines. So I'll make that a little thicker so that everybody can see. So pretty much all the price actions laying within the channel. Obviously we have this crazy wick, and then we do have price action that went above and topped out at, what is that? 0.262. Price action that's kind of exceeding that. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm seeing this kind of portion here. Let me lay that out for y'all. So we can see where the most of the volume actually was, and the reason I draw this is because it's another range that we're looking at. And look at here, we don't have as much volume as we had when we were originally minting, but look at where we're actually holding. Let's duplicate that. We're actually holding right above, utilizing that bottom trend line as a support zone. And again, this is still holding trend over time, but this simply time, I'd want to see some type of fundamental news to get listings to go down and for buyers to come in here. Ideally, again, you want to see more volume push us so that it can prove that we're going to hold this white horizontal line, which again was a prior top or a prior resistance. Can we hold that as a true support zone to take off to the upside? And again, how we're going to be able to tell if we're going to be able to get that is if we get the increase in volume, and ideally the decreasing in listings would help accelerate that move. The case that we don't get the volume to come in though, ideally you just keep seeing a huge sell that went to 0.6. Now you're kind of just accumulating. Now you're still getting some volume, but you're having trouble breaking through that last top. And so this is a very key level, I would say, for crypto Simeji to utilize either as one of two things, a support or a resistance. And clustering, then you have the range from the original mint that we're playing within. Then you have the trend line or the traders, like trend lines, kind of clustering up at one spot. It's probably a spot that you should definitely be taking a look at. So that's what I would say on crypto Simeji. Cool. All right. Yeah, let me see if there's any other questions. Alright. Trying to see if there's any more questions. Alright. Great breakdown of crypto Simeji. Appreciate it first name basis. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be that breakdown. As we saw a few, or at least one sale going right here. Is that somebody in here? Somebody buy that up? I'll check that after the stream. But yeah, were there any other projects that maybe somebody wanted to go over? Just kind of leave this pretty open. Alright. Checking the Not seeing many questions. Cool. Alright. I guess I'll go over some more little. Okay. When going into the trading view portion, one of the things I like to do is I like to customize what we're kind of doing over here. So if you just right click the screen, you'll get prompted with a settings little gear portion. And what I like to do is I like to go inside that. And here's where you can kind of customize. You click the wrong setting, or you deleted an indicator or something like that. Cool thing with TradingView is you can backspace it. So let's say I didn't want to go back into settings and change my candlestick from white to green. I can just click the back button because TradingView knows that we've done this. So that's one thing to kind of start messing with the colors of the candlesticks. You can change the thickness of the lines being shown. The status symbol is pretty much going to give us this top portion. So if you want to see the symbol, you can take that off if you don't want to see that. The open, high, low, if you don't want to see that, that's too much, you can turn that off. Volume, you can turn that off as well. Indicator titles, you can turn that, toggle that on and off. Scales, let's say that you didn't want, let's say you wanted indicator name labels on. Let's say you didn't same color that indicator is actually calculated on. So pretty cool for those who are kind of newer. Indicator label values, again, will give you the values of the actual indicator that's being shown. No overlapping labels. If you don't want the labels to override each other and kind of be able to see them very clear, you can turn that on. Countdown to bar close. I like to keep that on because I like to see, especially on hourly candles, when where projects kind of close on that, on certain candles closes. So next one you're going to have is appearance. Appearance is probably going to be the one that you see the main difference on my chart from. I believe the original might be like a gray or like setup, and I set that up as so. But yeah, and once you do have that, let's say you have this all figured out, you like your candlesticks, how it's fixed up, how the background is actually fixed up. Cool, let's say you're all good. You want to save this for your normal charting system. What you would do here is click save. So pretty cool. Another thing you also want to do, if you're going to want to settings, you'd go in here, save the indicator template, name it whatever you'd like, and you should have that saved for whenever you wanted to pop this up. So you can save numerous templates where you'd be able to, again, pop up templates that way. So it's pretty useful how TradingView kind of implements that. Overview. There's actually an outlier algo on the display for TradingView that you're looking at. It's pretty clean for being candlesticks. Again, it's very hard to kind of display candlesticks because candlesticks are calculating all price action within, I don't know if you guys have access to that, but we're trying to work on a thing where you can turn on outliers and turn them off. So the off outliers would be true price action, meaning, but yes, it's going to show true price action with a certain criteria that it's not particularly calculating. I have to get that exact metric of what it is, but just know it's a true price action, because if, say, right now there was a 100 ETH sale, we probably wouldn't pick that up on this algo. But here we would be able to see that. Notice, like with the outlier off, we have a price action with one being sold at 0.34. With the algo on, we don't even get that popped up here. And it's just cleaner price action at this point. Again, I have to get the exact metric that they're calculating that on for it to, I guess, not calculate that sale on the candlestick, but I'll get that back to you. That was a great question. Sherlock, can you explain what the long brick candlestick means, like two green and red ones of the same height next to each other? Yes, so I'm assuming you're talking about these. So like these two. So the question was from Sherlock, can you explain what the long brick candlestick means? Here on this red candlestick is saying that we had sales come in at both of these prices, at the top and the bottom of the candle. And we actually had the last sale of the candle come in at that bottom of the candle, which is probably saying, if we went from 0.01 to 0.003 or 0.001, it's pretty much the same kind of idea here. And when you start to see something like this, the next you much see that it's just a big old box all the way across until we truly break out. And look at that. Where we happen to start to breaking out is right where we start to get some volume coming in. But what's kind of screwing us here is the listings keep rising. Sherlock, Pluto, no account needed on TradingView for the save load feature. Nice. Yeah, I'm shocked as well. I have a premium account with them, and I know we get access to. So yeah, I would definitely recommend utilizing these charts, guys, if you guys have not already. But I'm looking to see if there's any more comments. If not, I also start wrapping everything up. Give me one sec. All right. I don't see any more questions. So with that being said, just wanted to thank everybody for coming out today. We do have some prizes for the people who have stuck around and participated. Let me see if Sloopy's here. Sloopy here. No, that's okay. It should be good. All right. So yeah, this is going to be the raffle giveaway for the end of this. So good luck to everybody, and again, appreciate you guys coming down. We do hold these sessions twice a week. Monday 2 p.m. Eastern and Tuesdays 7:15 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys are looking to get some more breakdowns, definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, without further ado, Sloopy, if you can spin that wheel, that would be awesome. Good luck to everybody. Let's see who we got. Who is that? Boo, boo. We will get that figured out for you immediately. Congratulations. Here's going to be another spin. So again, best of luck to everybody involved. Oh, who's that? Dash Cloud for the win. W sessions, and yeah, it's not possible without you guys. And getting the live streams and the updates for sharks that we're trying to implement, they would not be possible with every single one of you guys. So again, just want to thank you guys for coming out, and just want to say really appreciate everybody that's attending these sessions, because they do help a ton. So yeah, appreciate you guys coming down. And if you guys haven't, so yeah, if you guys can help kind of get the word out, whether that's liking, retweeting some of the posts through my personal Twitter, Sharks Twitter. If not, we'll catch you guys next week for the next week's live streams. But again, appreciate you guys coming down, and may your guys' bags be